Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of the Movie Knights Roundtable. We are virtual today because our friend Nicholas was feeling a little bit under the weather. How you doing, buddy?
Crushing it as per my friend.
Good, good. But that doesn't mean we don't have a crazy packed show for you because, by God, we do. And without further ado, we're going to go ahead and hit you guys up with some follow up stories. We have two follow up stories, and then we'll get into the news stories. And then, of course, at the end, the box office. So, first up, first follow up.
Ooh, with my
Uh,
headphones, that was very ASMR-y.
oh, good.
It sent
Um,
a shiver down my spine.
last week we did our dream fan cast for Knives Out 3 or Wake Up Dead Man, or just kind of any Knives Out movie. Like these who we'd want to see. Well, not long after that, they just released the whole goddamn cast. And
We're actually ahead of something for once.
yeah. And luckily, we have the whole cast to read to you. And Nicholas, you actually got one of them right. So without further ado, here we go. I'm just pulling from IMDb here. We got Kaylee Spaney, Josh Brolin, Josh O'Connor, who you got right, Andrew Scott, Daniel Craig, Jeremy Renner, Mila Kunis, Glenn Close, Kerry Washington, Daryl McCormick. Dude, holy shit.
Did you say Josh Brolin?
Yes.
Okay, I didn't hear him.
And they had to put two MCU actors in there, so we don't know who the killer is. But what happened? Did it do balloons when I did peace? I fucking
Yeah.
hate Zoom.
Um, wait, what? The two MCU actors?
Because in the first movie, spoilers
Oh,
for everyone
oh,
who's
oh
never
my God!
watched
I never even put that together.
Knives Out. Spoilers: Chris Evans, then Edward Norton, and now you got Jeremy Renner and Josh Brolin.
That's pretty. So did you see the whole thing too about Jeremy Renner? Because they have the Jeremy Renner hot sauce bit
Yes,
in.
yes.
So I feel like that's just gonna be a in-universe joke or something.
Yeah, I saw someone on TikTok say like this isn't what's happening, but what if Wake Up Dead Man is Benoit Blanc trying to find out who ran over Jeremy Renner with a snowplow? And I'm like, Jesus, they would
If
not do that.
if only there was an app to let us know what Jeremy Renner's up to.
Dude, those memes will always be funny. The ones with the just about the
I just
deletion of the Jeremy Renner app.
I actually just watched because I got excited about all the casting. I was traveling this past weekend, so I watched Knives Out on the plane ride there, and I watched Glass Onion on the plane ride back. Those movies are so good.
They're so good. And listen, this may be sacrilege. I contend that Glass Onion is slightly better than Knives Out. I love Glass Onion.
I don't think it's better, but I think that I liked it a lot more. I enjoyed it a lot the first time, but I really enjoyed it a lot watching it again. Just the layers like an onion that go into it. It's so good, and the payoff of just him like I'm not good at these stupid games like Among Us or whatever, and he goes, I didn't see it. It's just because this guy's an idiot.
Yes, yes.
Uh,
But anyway, that's the Knives Out 3 cast, guys. Moving on to the next follow-up story. We had been covering that Paramount is being sold, and we was going back and forth between Skydance and Sony. At one point, it looked like Sony was really going to go for it with an all-cash bid. However, according to CNBC, and it was later confirmed by other trades, that Paramount and Skydance are going to agree to merge, and that will officially be happening. Nicholas, you got any thoughts on Skydance winning this one out?
no, but they really just sort of came in out of left field. Like I didn't think Skydance was as big of a thing as they were to be merging with Paramount at that level.
Yeah,
Like if you had asked me, I would have said, "Oh, Paramount bought Skydance" or
yeah,
something
right.
along those lines. Not that pairing up. I'd be curious what happened behind the scenes that led to that decision as it comes out because Sony came in hard with a huge cash bid.
Yeah,
So I'm curious why that bait didn't catch.
yeah. I'm curious the details too, because I know Skydance's original bid was just for film Paramount. It wasn't for like all of Paramount like Sony's was. So It'll be interesting to see. Paramount Plus lives to fight another day, baby, because Sony was not going to use that shit.
Nope.
But yeah, that's the follow-up, guys. Skydance did win that out, and they will be merging with Paramount. Nicholas, I'll let you introduce our first new news story of the day.
Yes, our first story comes to us from Variety. And that is that Amazon has officially ordered a young Sherlock Holmes series starring hero Fiennes Tiffin, and Guy Ritchie is set to direct.
Yes, I think, if I'm not mistaken, it might be pronounced Fiennes, because I think he might be related to Ray Fiennes. But either way, this is interesting for a lot of reasons, because Guy Ritchie directed the Robert Downey Jr. Sherlock Holmes movies. And he is now, instead of doing Sherlock Holmes 3, which please do, I want to watch that so bad. But he's now doing a young Sherlock Holmes series for Amazon. He's seemingly going to direct the whole thing. There's no word on if it's like the young Robert Downey Jr. version of the character, or if it's just a different universe, young Sherlock Holmes. Either way, I'm interested. I'm going to go ahead and pull from Variety here. Amazon Prime Video has ordered a series based on Andy Lane's young Sherlock Holmes novels, with hero Fiennes Tiffin set for the lead role, Variety has learned. Guy Ritchie is attacked to direct and executive produce the 8-episode series, and will be a reunion for Ritchie and Tiffin, who recently worked together on The Ministry of Ungentlemanly Warfare. It is also the latest Sherlock Holmes project for Ritchie, as he previously directed 2 films about the famous detective, starring Robert Downey Jr. as Holmes, Jude Law as Watson, and Rachel McAdams as Irene Adler, which was perfect casting. And quoting Ritchie here, in Young Sherlock, we are going to see an exhilarating new version of the detective everyone thinks that they know in a way we've never imagined before. We're going to crack open this enigmatic character and find out what makes him tick, and learn how he becomes the genius that we all love. So the showrunner of it, by the way, is Matthew Parkhill, who wrote on Deep State and Rogue. So listen, count me in. I'm excited about this. I love Guy Ritchie. I love Sherlock Holmes. I love Guy Ritchie's Sherlock Holmes. So there's nothing to suggest that I won't like this series. I think it would be interesting if we find out it was actually tied to the Robert Downey Jr. films, and this is like the young version of that character. But at the same time, I wouldn't blame them if it's not, because it really frees them up creatively to kind of set it at whatever time period they want and really just have a great time with it. What are your thoughts on this?
Yeah, I mean, it keeps the trend of Guy Ritchie really just cranking everything out as much as possible before he gets
Mm-hmm.
thrown back in director jail.
No,
Um,
we are not going to let that happen.
no, it's definitely an interesting concept. That seems he has a good relationship with Amazon, coming off of the Covenant and Rusty Guy. Wasn't that an
Oh,
Amazon movie
the
too?
Operation Fortune.
Yeah, Operation Fortune. Um,
I might have been. I can't remember.
I thought that the actor was really good in Ungentlemanly Warfare as
Yeah,
well. And I looked it up too. Ray Fiennes' uncle,
got it. Okay,
and that he played young Voldemort in Half Blood
that
Prince. That's pretty
tracks. That
funny.
tracks. Yeah.
Yeah. um. Yeah, I think it's interesting that he's worked with. Has Benedict Cumberbatch and Guy Ritchie worked together?
I don't think so.
No, he's worked with then two of the more mainstream Sherlock Holmes actors. Then, well, obviously one being his, and then he just did Ministry with Henry Cavill.
Oh yeah, that's true. That's true.
If you want to count Henry Cavill as a mainstream
Yeah.
Sherlock Holmes.
Yeah. I'm sure, according to Netflix, a lot of people watched Enola.
That's fair, and Enola too.
Yeah.
No, I mean, I think that especially the Benedict Cumberbatch, Sherlock, I think works really well as a series.
Hmm.
You kind of get this mystery of the week type deal, which I could see it kind of taking more of that kind of approach compared to like the Sherlock formatting. But I think Sherlock Holmes series with a talent like Guy Ritchie is an exciting thing.
Oh, I agree. I agree. And what do you guys think? Are you excited for the Young Sherlock series directed by Guy Ritchie? Let us know in the comments as we move on to our next story. And Nicholas, what do you got for us next?
Our next story comes to us from Deadline, and that is that Anatomy of a Fall star Sandra Hueller is set to co-star opposite Ryan Gosling in the Project Hail Mary adaptation for Amazon MGM Studios, Amy Pascal, and Lord and Miller.
Yes. So this film, this Project Hail Mary, is going to be amazing. I'm hoping, because you have Lord and Miller directing. You have Greg Fraser shooting it, who shot the Dune films. He shot the Batman. Great cinematographer. And we already knew that Ryan Gosling was attached, but now they're adding Sandra Hueller, who just fucking crushed it in Anatomy of a Fall. I'm going to take it from Deadline here. Fresh off her Oscar nomination for her performance in Anatomy of a Fall, Sandra Hueller looks to have found her follow-up project as she looks to team with another Oscar nominee from 2024. Sources tell Deadline Hueller is set to join Gosling in Amazon's MGM Studios adaptation of Project Hail Mary, with Amy Pascal, Phil Lord, Chris Miller, and Aditya Sood producing. Sorry if I pronounced that wrong. Lord and Miller are also directing the film from a script by Drew Goddard. Did I not know that?
I didn't know that information.
Did I not know that Drew Goddard wrote this? Oh
I
my
had no
God.
idea.
This is the best fucking day ever. I fucking
That's
love Drew
wild.
Goddard, and I love his writing. Oh, this is a dream. Pascal will produce through her Pascal Pictures along with Rachel O'Connor, as well as Gosling via his general admission company. Lord and Miller and Sood will produce via Lord Miller, where will also produce. Guys, I was already hyped. And maybe I knew that Drew Goddard was writing this, but man, I forgot. As soon as I saw that, I'm hype as fuck. I can't wait for this fucking movie. It's gonna be so awesome. Oh, but Nick, what do you think about Sandra Hueller joining this, what's seemingly gonna be a stacked movie?
I mean, like we've always said, it's never a bad idea to add talent, and this movie really just keeps on adding talent. You know, you have Ryan Gosling, who's really peaking at his career right now, or has he even begun to peak? We don't know. You know, Lord and Miller uh, are great directors. I had more to say on that, and then I lost it. You know, they can handle a wide range from like the comedy to the dramatic moments. Sandra Hueller, fantastic. Drew Goddard writing is a huge one, but also let's take a step back and let's look at what the movie is. It's a critically acclaimed novel by author Andy Weir, who also wrote a book that turned into The Martian.
Yeah.
You
Oscar
know,
nominated movie. I think
Oscar
Oscar nominated movie
nominated.
too.
It might have been. You know, so I think everything coming together and getting this group of people is just going to make for something I hope special, especially with like Greg Fraser's cinematography. You know, it all comes down to how are they adapting it and adapting the story. But you got Drew Goddard penning it, so I feel secure.
Oh, I fucking feel secure too. Oh, this is great news. What do you guys think about Sandra Hueller? Oh, go ahead.
Do you know what Andy Weir novel that I have not? Oh wait, never mind. I lied. I thought it was an Andy Weir novel. It's not.
Just for my own personal sake, tell me, what was it?
It's a book called Whale Fall.
Okay.
And it is about a guy who gets eaten by a whale. But I think it's sort of like Martian style, where it's like this guy's just monologue or record of trying to survive inside of this whale.
Does his name happen to be Noah?
It's Pinocchio.
Oh wait, no, it's Jonah. Fucking Noah's the Ark, man. My Baptist Sunday school teachers are rolling in their grave right now. Well, they did that a long time ago with my actions. But anyway, what do you guys think about Sandra Hueller joining Project Hail Mary? Let us know as we move on to our next story. Nicholas, what do you got for us next?
Our next story is not a story, but rather a conversation and a reaction to a trailer that was dropped earlier today, luckily for us.
Yes,
and
luckily for the timing of our show.
For Venom, The Last Dance, also known as Venom 3.
Yeah, so first of all, we're gonna get into the the specifics. There's one shot specifically that we have to talk about, but I thought the trailer was really fun. I think it looks really fucking fun as hell. It's staying more in line with like how Venom 2 felt, which I thought that was an improvement over the first one. I think the first one didn't exactly know what kind of movie it wanted to be, and Venom 2 knew exactly what it wanted to be, and this feels like that. I do like the story angle with seemingly the symbiote planet coming to Earth. Maybe we'll get a null appearance for any comic fans out there, but before I get to the shot that we have to talk about, give me your general thoughts too.
Yeah, I mean, listen, are the Venom movies great? No. Are they fun as hell and have kept that consistently? Yes. And I think that they managed to strike the tone that I think Sony has wanted with all of their other movies, going to a Madam Web, a Morbius, and they're really trying to replicate that, but Venom just works so organically for that. And it's one of those things where I know I'm going to go to a Venom movie, and even if it's bad, I'm still gonna have a good time because Tom Hardy just loves playing this character. He loves playing weird little freaks, and in this one, he gets to play two of them. There's a fucking Venom horse. Like, we don't need to take this seriously.
Dude, the Venom horse was awesome, by the way.
But oh my god, it's what's it called? Ghost Rider 2 with the
Yes.
demon horse.
Yes.
It I'm excited for it. I'm curious what they're setting up with it. It kind of looks like Tom Hardy, Eddie Brock is being hunted down. It looks like Venom's being hunted down. I think in the trailer there's a giant creature type thing that you see. Apparently, I think people were kind of speculating from the comics that that's these creatures from his home planet. Their goal in life is just to eat symbiotes. So I guess that makes sense given that they have a bunch of symbiotes on Earth that they're arriving to Earth. And it sticks with Venom having to protect.
Yeah,
making him the anti-hero.
Of course, because it can't be Sony without making them anti-heroes.
And there's a dance in the trailer.
There is with Mrs. Chen.
Of all people. I love Mrs. Chen.
Me too. But Nicholas, here's the shot that we got to talk about. It shows them picking up the symbiote on the bar that was left in the MCU.
Yeah.
And it's Ejiofor, the actor.
And it has the guy from Ted Lasso, Danny Rojas.
That makes no sense. How did they get to the MCU? One. Mm-hmm. Two, if it's just Mordo in this movie the whole time, what a great hidden thing that he's now joined the fucking military. But three, are they just gonna retcon it and say, nope, that was in our universe the whole time? Or is it just like the Spider-Man mural and Morbius trailer where it's not even going to be in the fucking movie and they're just fucking with us? They like to fuck with us, Nicholas.
They do.
But it was two shots. It was the close-up and then the wide. Does he work for like the TVA and he's just like going around? I have so many questions. And we saw Rhys Ifans in the trailer.
Yes, very quickly, briefly. Is he going to be the Lizard? Do we get Michael Keaton's Vulture?
Do we get Morbius? That's the better question. Because that's the only movie that they say takes place in this universe. They distance the fuck out of Madam Web.
I have. This is a trailer that left me with more questions than answers. I feel like Rhys Ifans has to be playing some variant or variation of Kirk Connors, the Lizard, because otherwise, why would you cast him? Sony cast him originally. They wouldn't do that,
Yeah.
But I could buy Chiwetel Ejiofor being just a different character.
Yes, but how is that different character in the MCU?
Nope, that's also a great question. Venom. I think it's just going to be a retcon, to be completely honest with you.
Oh, that's going to piss me off.
I mean, I don't know. We could be wrong. They don't name drop him, but I don't think that Marvel would allow Mordo to be in Venom 3.
Listen, we've seen Stranger Things because like they allowed Matt Murdock to be in Spider-Man. They allowed Iron Man to be in Spider-Man,
Yeah, but this is like just straight up the villain. It looks
true, and look, I don't think he's playing Mordo either, because I think he speaks briefly and it's a completely different accent. But like, I just hope that scene is not in the movie. Like, because like even
I'm sure they'll explain it in context too.
I so doubt it. I think that
That's fair.
even if somehow they like have this device that follows him to the MCU to collect that, why are they just taking the symbiote back? It was such a cool tease to have the symbiote be in the MCU now. And
Because that was definitely Feige's decision, and Amy Pascal said absolutely not. You're not sneaking in the symbiote.
But also, okay, this is the only acceptable way I'll allow that scene being in there, okay?
Mm-hmm.
If these guys come from the Venomverse into the MCU via whatever plot device you want, they collect
It's gonna be some machine in the military base.
They collect the sample, they go back, and then the bartender's sitting there, and he's just like, what the hell's going on? And then Mordo walks in, and he's like, what the fuck? And like, he just like doesn't know what's going
Freaks
on.
out.
Yeah. Now, go ahead.
I want to know if Rise Ifans is going to be Lizard, but I want to know if they're going to retcon Venom as a whole and put him in the Andrew Garfield Amazing Spider-Man universe.
Because so like when he went to the MCU and left, he ended up in the That's good.
Because we see Lizard get cured.
Mm-hmm.
And he's not the Lizard in the trailer.
Yeah.
He's just Kurt, the guy. And even leading to that, when they're all in No Way Home first imprisoned, and they're going through like, oh shit, I was about to die. Like, I was about to die. And we never learned Lizard's fate. And he goes, what about me? Do you know what happens to me? They could be paying off that of like, yeah, I don't know.
That's good. That's a nice theory. I like that. But do you think the film will be rated R?
Said not rated yet. I feel like they should, because I feel like the second one did really well with it. But I mean, I guess it just depends on
the second one was PG-13.
I thought the second one was R.
No.
They've all been PG-13? No.
And you have Craven coming out in December, which is rated R.
Oh, I think it'll be PG-13 then. I think they're going to keep with what they did.
All right.
I thought Venom Let There Be Carnage was R.
No.
No, I mean, also it looks fun. And this is his like producer partners directing it, right? It's like her first movie.
Yeah, no, and it's she wrote the other Venom films as well, and she gets to direct this one. Yeah,
it looks good.
Yeah, no, I agree. Look, I'm excited. The trailer did excite me. It also gave me infuriating questions, but
so many questions, which
now
probably won't answer.
Yeah, now it's to you guys. What did you think of the Venom 3 trailer? Venom: The Last Dance. What the fuck do you think is going on with all the continuity shit? Please let us know in the comments as we move on to our next story. And Nicholas, what do you got for us next?
Our next story comes to us from The Hollywood Reporter, and that is that a Just Cause movie is in the works from Blue Beetle director and Angel Manuel Soto and 87 North.
Yeah, so this one kind of came out of nowhere. And we've seen a lot of video game adaptations start to skyrocket with recent success, like the Mario movie and Sonic. A lot of them didn't do very well, like the old Tomb Raider that was rebooted, but this seems to be another one coming. I'm going to take from the Hollywood Reporter right now. Hit video game franchise Just Cause has gotten a new lease on life. The video game from Square Enix and Avalanche Studios has landed Universal Pictures with Blue Beetle director Angel Manuel Soto set to helm the adaptation. Kevin McCormick and David Leitch, the producing duo behind The Fall Guy and Nobody, will produce through their 87 North banner company with the first look deal with Universal. It goes on to say that that they've been trying to make this movie for a really long time, but it just kept kind of failing and falling out. It doesn't say if it's going to be animated or live action. I would assume live action. But I think it's a good directing choice. I thought that there was a lot of great character growth and moments in that Blue Beetle movie. And I think if you're going to make the next video game adaptation, you have to get somebody who can kind of ground it with the characters. So I think it's
Yeah,
an interesting choice.
and you have David Leitch with 87 North, so you know that the action is going to be pretty solid as well on
Oh,
top of
yeah.
that. And it's an action heavy game on top of that. I remember a long time ago, we actually, I think, talked about it on an old episode that they
Hmm.
were making a Just Cause movie with Jason Momoa.
That sounds familiar now that you say that. Yeah.
Yeah, and I guess that just isn't happening. But I think Angel Manuel Soto's next movie is with Jason Momoa.
Interesting.
It's hold on a second. Yeah, so does Blue Beetle was the first major superhero movie to center on a Latino hero and garnered positive reviews when it was released last year. He's currently in prep for the action movie The Wrecking Crew for Amazon that will star Jason Momoa and Dave Bautista. He is also co-writing a Transformers spin-off with Marco Ramirez that he may direct for Paramount. So man is getting some work.
Yeah. And I forgot that the Jason Momoa, Dave Bautista buddy cop was him. So that's
That's
interesting.
all I needed for a buddy cop pairing, first off.
100%.
Second, I
100%.
love the Just Cause game, so I'm excited to see it get an
No,
adaptation.
I remember our college days. So a quick backstory for everyone listening and or watching. We were college roommates, and whenever Nick's door was open, it meant that I could just roam in. Because if you know me, I just walk around. I'm a roamer. And if it's closed, it means, obviously don't knock, don't go in, the door's shut. But whenever he would eat lunch, he would normally play video games and he would leave his door open. And I would just walk in and talk about whatever the fuck was going on. And for a certain period of time there, like almost months, you were playing, was it Just Cause 4?
3, 4 was
3.
ass.
Playing Just Cause 3. And I never played, but I watched you play for several hours at a time. It was quite entertaining to just watch.
I just liked paragliding around because in the third one you get the wingsuit too.
Mm-hmm.
It's so fun. The games are so fun.
Nice, yeah. But what do you
It
guys
lends
think
itself
about?
to an action movie too. I mean, it's literally you just trying to stop like a dictator.
Yeah, 100%. And there's nothing more, kind of rah, let's go than fucking up dictators.
From a rebellion.
So, yes, so I'm in. But what do you guys think about the Just Cause movie from the Blue Beetle director? Let us know in the comments as we move on to our final news story before the box office. Nicholas, what do you got for us next?
Our next story comes to us from Variety, and that is that a 300 television series is in early development at Warner Brothers Television.
So here's what's interesting about it. Zack Snyder's in talks to come back and direct it.
Mm-hmm.
And you might be thinking, oh, well, he directed the first film, he produced the second film. What's the harm and foul in that? Well, it's with Warner Brothers, who things did not exactly end very well with Zack Snyder and Warner Brothers. And I think it just goes to show that the new leadership there, as we mentioned on the show, even though they keep canceling fucking movies for no reason, they are trying to get talented filmmakers back and to say, hey, we are not the old regime. Please come work for us. And this is very surprising. And do I think this has a little bit to do with Rebel Moon's not exactly doing very well? Yes. Am I still going to watch the director's cuts? Yes. But I'm going to pull from Variety. A 300 TV series adaptation is in early development at Warner Brothers Television. Variety has learned from sources. Exact plot details are still being worked out, but sources say that the show would serve as a prequel to the 2006 film. No writer or platform is currently attached to the project. Deals are still being negotiated, but Zack Snyder, who directed and co-wrote 300, is in talks to direct and executive produce the series. Deborah Snyder, who EP'd 300, would also return as an EP under her and Zack's Stone Quarry production banner. It also goes on to say that Warner Brothers TV declined to comment, which means it's true, and just kind of goes on to talk about the success of that original film and its follow-up. But I was very surprised to hear this news. And I don't think it's necessarily bad news at all. And no, I don't fucking think this means that the Snyderverse is coming back. Listen, as much as I'd like to see it, Nicholas, if they announce tomorrow that we were getting Zack Snyder's Justice League 2 and 3, I'd be amped as fuck. Do I think that it will ever happen? Unfortunately, no. Do I think that this news means, oh, we're good? No. It's not going to happen while James Gunn is doing his thing. But I do find it interesting that this relationship is being mended. I'm very, very fascinated by it. And yes, it is Warner Brothers TV. It's not exactly Warner Brothers, pictures. And Zack Snyder has mentioned that he got along with other divisions because whenever he'd make films for Warner Brothers, he would immediately go across the street to the physical media department and be like, let's do a director's cut. And then that's who would approve it. So,
Jesus.
that's, fun. But I do find it interesting. Do you think he'll actually end up directing this? And were you as surprised as I am?
I mean, the fact that he's in talks is big enough. I really don't have any skin in this game. I have not seen any of the 300 movies. But I think that him coming back, not coming back, really doesn't have much of an effect on me. I think he's kind of been really hit or miss lately. I wasn't the huge fan of Army of the Dead, and I haven't seen the Rebel Moon movies, but from your reviews, not great. So I don't even know if him coming back is an exciting thing or not. I think it's definitely an interesting story, and I'm glad to see that a relationship is being mended. But yeah, I don't.
Yeah.
If I'm being honest.
Yeah, no, that's fair. The first 300, I've never seen the second 300. People who have seen it say that it's really fun, but the first 300 is great, and it might be Zack Snyder's one of his best films. But part of the reason why I think it's exciting that Zack Snyder's coming back for 300 specifically is his work on 300 is what kind of put him on the map to other filmmakers. Like, you hear other filmmakers ring Zack Snyder up a lot, saying like how technically innovative he was with his filmmaking, and that came from his work on 300. Like, the way that they shot those action sequences is they had, I'm not doing it justice, but they had two simultaneous cameras going, one as a close-up, one as a wide. So when they would stitch the shots together, it looked like a quick zoom, and it looked awesome with slow-mo and how that movie looked. It was shot entirely on a stage, which at the time, not very common. It has a very distinct look, a very distinct style, like Zack Snyder does. It has Gerard Butler saying, "This is Sparta," and kicking a motherfucker into a hole, which is really all you need.
I do remember that. I have seen that. I mean, that's an iconic scene.
Yeah. But it's a really great film. So what excites me is the fact that if he's coming back, maybe he'll use this project to do some more innovative technical filmmaking that he did the first time around. Maybe in his brain, this could be like hey, let's get back to this and let's use this as my testing ground to, do some cool stuff.
What are your thoughts of like just retreading back? Because it seems to be a big trend of like, oh, we're gonna do a TV version of it. I mean, even just in this show, it's like, oh, we're gonna do young Sherlock Holmes. What's your thoughts on just that sort of trend that we're seeing at that? But like, would you prefer that over like a reboot?
It's,
or a remake?
it's a great question. It's a great question. Like, in this particular case, I'd like to just see a prequel movie or a reboot. For the trend itself, it is interesting. Like, I think there are some stories that call for it, and I think there are some stories where, oh, I'd be interested in getting like a longer format version of this. But I want to know if it's the filmmakers who want this or if it's the streamers, because streaming loses money on these shows all the time, but they pay a lot, which makes me think like maybe the filmmakers are the ones who are like, hey, we could do a show if you want to. But
because like even going back to Guy Ritchie, he just did the Gentleman series on Netflix.
Yeah.
Percy Jackson just did their series.
Yeah.
Harry Potter's getting its series, and I feel like books are a little different because I feel like books series specifically lend themselves to that format more. But also,
I agree.
But do they though? Because the Harry Potter movies crush it.
Yeah. Well, it's all about adaptation and how you do it. You can have a story that you think warrants 8 episodes, and all 8 episodes could suck. You could have a story that warrants 90 minutes, and you make 10 great hour-long episodes of it. It just all depends on how you adapt it. I think the shift towards TV is interesting just because, a lot of people's watching habits are changing to watching more things at home, to my fucking despair, but it is what's happening. And so I find it interesting that that's the route to go. But I also think there's a risk of oversaturation because there's so much fucking content now, dude. And I hate to even call it content. I hate using that word when it comes to movies and TV. But when there's so much of it, that's all you can really refer it to as. Like I actually showed someone at work today. Someone said, "Do you have a watch list?" And I had it on my Remarkable device. My first show on that watch list is from 2019. That's how much shit there is. And it's just
Yeah.
like it's ever growing. And yeah, I went a little off topic there, but yeah.
No, you're good. I mean, and then my thing with it too is oh, hold on, I just had the point. Do you think that it is easier to get it greenlit because of the disbursement of money? For example, do you think that someone could go to a streamer and say, "Hey, I have this 2 hour long movie. Give me $100 million," and now they only have $100 million into a 2 hour movie versus, "Hey, I have a 10 episode miniseries. Give me $100 million, and it's 10 million an episode." So do you think like that framing of it makes it more appealing because they're like, "Oh, well, it's spread out. People are gonna binge watch. We're gonna have them for if someone watches it, we have them on our platform for 10 hours versus having them for 2 hours."
I mean, not for a streamer because there's no way to make money unless you really are spending that much on ads. At least with the movie, you're putting it
But
in
then they have the
theaters.
ads because they're getting you on there for 10 hours.
Right, but I don't know how the ads work on the streaming part. I
Mm.
know for like traditional television, it'd be an excellent move, but the streaming part's a bit different because I don't know how the ad revenue works because that's still relatively a new practice.
Mhm.
But for I assume this would be a Max series. I
Yeah,
don't know how the ads work on Max. I don't know if they would make this like the Percy Jackson show where it actually has ad breaks built into it. But, you know, with the ads, yes, it's a more viable option, but I still think it's a more risky than putting it in theaters. And putting it in theaters is still a huge fucking risk, as we've seen from the box office recently. But with the show, all it takes is the first episode. If the first episode sucks, all the ads are going to get dropped from all the people
yeah,
who wanted ad space, and you right away it becomes not worth it. Whereas with a movie, you have theaters, you have your multiple weekends if it does well, you have PVOD, you have physical media, and you have selling the streaming rights. So you have several options to get your money back, even if you don't quite get it right that first time. Now, making money on those secondary markets that's not theatrical is harder to do now than it was. Like DVD used to be a second life for a movie.
yeah.
Like infamously, Grandma's Boy, the movie, made almost nothing when it was in theaters, and it made a killing on DVD. Here, let me see if I can actually have the numbers. This movie is fucking hilarious, by the way, if you guys have not seen it.
Grandpa's Boy.
Yeah. Have you seen Grandma's Boy?
Nick Swartzen, right?
Yeah.
I have.
It's so funny. Grandma's Boy. Worldwide box office, $6 million. Estimated domestic DVD sales, $35 million.
Holy crap.
That's insane.
That's wild.
On a budget of 5. So it made all its profit money on DVD. That does not happen anymore. But they still had the option after it failed in theaters, So
Yeah.
it's a deep conversation. I'm glad you asked the question. But it just is what it is in that way.
Mhm.
But regardless, guys, got a little bit off topic. What do you guys think about the 300 series coming to Warner Brothers TV? And are you surprised that Zack Snyder is going to come back and direct it? Let us know as we move on to the box office.
The box office.
Nicholas, pull up our predictions.
All right, Dalton, you had Furiosa coming in at number 1, Garfield number 2, was it Young Woman in the Sea number 3, If number 4, and Apes, Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes number 5. I went Furiosa, Garfield, If, Young Woman in the Sea, and then Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes. So you and I just switched Woman in the Sea.
Right. We were both wrong. It turns
Naturally.
out it doesn't fucking matter because they're not reporting the box office numbers for Young Woman in the Sea, which is fucking stupid as fuck.
Why not?
God. Because apparently they're just putting it in theaters as an awards play, and then they're just going to put it on Disney Plus.
Are they legally allowed to not report the box office?
Yeah. I mean, third-party companies can figure it out, but these numbers usually come from the studios. So granted, it's not going to be listed here. But coming in number 1, by the way, these are the final Monday numbers because we are recording on a Monday, and I'm so happy we are because a nutty thing was going to happen that luckily didn't happen. But coming in number 1 was Garfield, dropping only 42% from week 1 to week 2. Good for the Garfield movie. Coming in second was Furiosa, a Mad Max Saga, making another $10.7 million, dropping 59%, almost 60%, which fucking sucks. Furiosa does not deserve that. If, coming in third, dropping only 35% from week 2 to week 3. Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes came in fourth, making another $8.9 million. The Fall Guy came in fifth, making another $4 million. Now, in the Sunday estimates, If crept over Furiosa to be second, but Furiosa did beat it by about $200,000.
A little close.
That is way too close, especially for Furiosa.
Let's
dive into some details here.
Garfield's crazy. That's wild.
Yeah, Garfield now has $152 million worldwide. It's exactly 2.5. Profitability, baby. Garfield made the money. And it actually is now the highest grossing Garfield film ever.
Hey.
Furiosa, a Mad Max Saga, god damn it, only has $115 million worldwide on a budget of 168. God, we might live in a world where that movie doesn't even make its budget back. That fucking sucks, man. That sucks. I mean, I know you don't like the movie as much as I did, but I don't think the movie deserves that, even with how much I enjoyed it.
I mean, based on how everyone was reacting to it online, I really thought it was gonna go off. But
that's the magic of online
It did
praise.
get what, a B- cinema score?
B+, I think.
B+. So not the best.
Yeah. If now has $137 million worldwide, and that's on a budget of 110, so it's about 1.3 times its budget back. Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes now has $337 million worldwide. It's at 2.1. So I think by next week we will have profitability for
It'll creep its way there.
Planet of the Apes. Yep. And the Fall Guy has now 158 million. It's at 1.3. That's not going to hit profitability. And I think it hit VOD this week. So, Universal kind of gave up on that. Fucking Universal's been pissing me off lately. They never readjusted their goddamn theatrical window after COVID. I remember being alone in my shitty apartment at the time when I made that video saying, please don't decrease the theatrical window. And they did it anyway because, all the people who watched me at the time, it was even less than it was now. But Inside Out 2 is going to get a 100-day theatrical window, which is fucking awesome.
That's crazy.
Yes, but I'm glad they're doing it.
There shows a lot of confidence in that movie too. On top of that,
and going back on topic here, The Strangers Chapter 1 made 3.7 times its budget at $31 million worldwide, which, I mean, it's profitable, but it's not what they wanted to see. They wanted to make more than that.
Well, especially with chapters 2 and 3 already go. Have you seen the Tarot box office?
No. Let me pull it up.
Pull that one up. I saw that earlier today.
All right, so it's made 41 million worldwide. on a budget of 8. Well, goddamn. It's almost 5.5 times the budget back. I mean, they can't be mad about that, but they also can be because it's still not that much money. But listen, but that's the great thing. What if we said, just make the movies fucking cheaper? Just make them cheaper. You don't need to pay people $40 million to be on screen for 10 minutes. But speaking of low budget films that are killing it, Godzilla -1, #1 on Netflix, baby. And they're putting the black and white version on there soon too.
Ooh, minus color. I gotta get that another watch there. That would be so.
Oh yes. Oh yes. And with that down, guys, we're gonna go ahead and get our predictions for next week going. Nicholas, you go first.
It's Bad Boys for Life week, right?
Bad Boys
Die.
Ride or Die. It's insane that they didn't save For Life for the 4th movie. I just want to say that.
All right, I'm gonna go Bad Boys Ride or Die.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna go Garfield. I'm gonna go If.
Okay.
I'm gonna go Furiosa. And then I'm gonna go Apes.
All right. I'm trying to pull up if anything else comes out this weekend.
Bad Boys, and there's a couple of streaming releases. So you get the Dakota Johnson Am I Okay movie on Max, as well as Richard Linklater's Hitman on Netflix.
Yes, which you can see our review for on the channel very soon. I saw that movie. Mm-hmm. It's fucking great. Spoiler alert. But anyway, I'm gonna go Bad Boys #1. Which, by the way, I'm not even gonna get a chance to see that for a while because I'm busy with Quiver stuff. But you know how it goes.
I didn't even see the 3rd one.
Yeah, me neither. Next I'll go. I can't let my body do this, Nicholas. I just can't do it. We're gonna go Furiosa #2. It's a stupid choice. I'm recognizing this, but my hope is the action movie in Bad Boys gets people on an action kick, and they're like, you know what other action movies are playing? And we get that. I have worked the box office of many a movie theater where someone comes up to me and just says, what action movie's playing? And they buy a ticket. How these people live their lives, I'll never understand. 3rd place, I will do Garfield. 4th place, I will do If. And 5th place, I will do Apes.
All right. I like it.
God damn it. We'll see what happens.
Yeah. And just for giggles and shits, I'm just going to give Twitter one quick little open.
Okay.
Just because we'll drop, we'll stop recording and there'll be some big thing that drops as well.
100%.
So. Richard Linklater finds his new project. Yeah, no, it looks like we are in the clear for now.
All right. In the clear for now. That is good for us, but who knows? As soon as we drop this tomorrow, some shit will happen. But guys, some things to be on the lookout for. My review for the first 4 episodes of The Acolyte will be out just mere hours after this episode drops. And you can find my Hitman review on Thursday. And there are a bunch of videos I said were coming last week that aren't here yet. But don't worry, we'll get them. And that's it for now. Nicholas, you got anything else you want to add?
As always, you can find links to our social media as well as audio versions of the show in the description. We are also going to keep going with these community posts. Everyone has been really actively engaging with those. Don't be afraid to comment more, But we'll get those polls going throughout the week here. And yeah.
Awesome. And as always, thank you guys so much for watching, and we will see you next time.